In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my price update on Bitcoin and where I see it going in the coming bull run, where the stuff that's been happening recently and the stuff that I think is going to change the trajectory of Bitcoin going into the bull run, as we are in the bull run right now. And I'm also going to be going over a bunch of different alts as well. If that sounds good, you're going to want to watch all the way to the end. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn post notifications on if you haven't yet. So as you can see here, I'm on the official CoinMarketCap website. So let's start by taking a look at the prices of crypto as a whole right now. So let's start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at about $101,000, and we can see about a month ago it was sitting at about 88,000. So we see in the past 30 days or so, Bitcoin has gone up about 14% or so from 88 to 101. Next up, number two, we have Ethereum, currently trading at about $3,900. A month ago, it was trading at about $3,155. And we see for the month, it's up about 24 or so percent. And we can see the prices definitely correlate as well, right? When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. When Bitcoin goes down, Ethereum goes down. And I also want to show you guys Solana as well. Solana for the past month has kind of been going in the middle, right? It hasn't been really been going up or down much, but we can kind of see some price action. It hit over 160, it dropped below close to like 213, but now it's peaking at about 223. So yeah, in the past month it's gone up about 6%, which is modest, you know. And in going into the bull run in 2025, I predict it doing much more bigger price action. So last week in crypto, this is pretty much what we saw, right? This is pretty much the outflows of the past week or so of crypto. Bitcoin up 4.5%, and all the big alts are pretty much down a little bit red, but we could definitely see that because Google made that Willow chip announcement and it pretty much tanked the market just a little bit, but a lot of stuff has recovered. Surprisingly, we saw BNB, XRP, and some other ones start to do still perform in the green, but yeah, pretty cool. So update for you guys on strategic reserve states. So pretty much there's a Bitcoin news update for you guys, right? 2 states in the United States, they've pretty much made legislation updates regarding their Bitcoin reserves. So the state of Texas, and I'm not even sure that state, but it's like an eastern state. But so those 2 states themselves have announced that they've officially started Bitcoin reserve legislations. It's not announcing that they're having it yet, but they're announcing that it's in legislation. If it's approved, then yeah, on a state level, we could see Bitcoin reserves on these 2 states. And we also saw this update from Dennis Porter, which is a notable guy in Texas. And so Dennis Porter posted this on his Twitter. We have a near 100% chance of passing a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill into law at the state level. So it's pretty much staying at the state level of Texas. Then yes, he's saying it's a 100% chance of passing, so it's going to be a Bitcoin reserve, is according to him. But Texas House introduced the bill to establish a Bitcoin reserve, and we saw him speak a little bit about that on CNBC, and then he posted that screenshot on his Twitter. We also have Florida, right? More Bitcoin reserves there. So Cointelegraph posted this. Just in Florida, may introduce a Bitcoin reserve in 2025, leveraging its $185 billion pension and budget surplus to allocate billions into crypto and related assets. So Florida is saying that Florida may introduce a bill for a Bitcoin reserve in 2025, leveraging it's leveraging pretty much just a $185 billion pension fund that the state has, and it's in combination with the budget surplus. So they have money in $185 billion that they want to potentially use some of it or all of it into Bitcoin reserves. And I think that's really cool for Florida as well. So we're seeing some action on the east side with Florida and that other state that was on the map. And we also see Texas. So we're seeing potentially three different states talk about Bitcoin reserve updates. So it's also coming up to this. VanEck also said USA will embrace Bitcoin strategy, a Bitcoin reserve. So another prediction from VanEck is the US will embrace Bitcoin with a strategic reserve and increase crypto adoption, with new SEC leadership. So in January, when you see new SEC leadership, Gary Gensler stepping down, and then Trump's new person stepping up, we could see more embrace and more adoption. So with the new leadership, new spots, ETPs will be approved. Ethereum ETPs will include staking, while both Ethereum and Bitcoin ETPs will allow in-kind transaction and redemptions. So it's saying it's pretty much just going to be more adoption with the new SEC people coming in, crypto adoption, which is a good thing because more legislation, more regulation, and that leads to more mainstream. So that's a prediction by VanEck. We also have this one coming in. Lummis meets Besant on BTC reserve. So Senator Cynthia Lummis meets with Trump's incoming Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to discuss a strategic reserve. So pretty cool. On the White House type level, we see people talking about going back and forth about a Bitcoin reserve. And I'm pretty sure they're talking about on a federal level. So federal level will pretty much cover all of the United States, but it doesn't specify. But I think that's what they're trying to say. Next up, we also have Greenpeace give up anti-Bitcoin stance. So Greenpeace campaign has been suspended as of today. There's been no action, post, or media release 6 months. The change code cleanup Bitcoin handle has been inactive since 2024. The former campaign director, Josh Arthur, left Greenpeace USA to join STAN, a grassroots organization protecting endangered forests. Meanwhile, Sierra Club, Earth Justice, and EWG have not tweeted on Bitcoin and the environment in the past year. No other branches of Greenpeace publicly supported Greenpeace's USA campaigns. The focus of this newsletter is to mark a moment in Bitcoin and reflect on some important lessons learned. So Greenpeace, from this, is a pretty notable. They're a pretty notable org, right? A pretty notable organization, and they've, according to this campaign or this letter, they've given up their anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto stance on it. So that looks like a good thing. I don't know how big or small Greenpeace is in the overall economy and stuff like that, but it's here, and people are definitely changing their mind in the world. VanEck new PTs for crypto. So this alert popped up. VanEck predicts Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana will reach new all-time highs in 2025, and this is the predictions that VanEck has for BTC, Ethereum, and Solana. So VanEck is one of the biggest names in finance, and they're predicting this. Okay, they have many billions, trillions of dollars in funds for clients already, and they're a big financial institution. So they're predicting in 2025 highs, BTC could hit 180K. Right now, BTC is at about 100K. So to go from 100 to 180. Next up, we have Ethereum. They're predicting Ethereum will hit $6,000, and we see Ethereum right now at about $4,000. So from $4,000 to $6,000, to me, that seems reasonable. And also the BTC also seems reasonable as well. And Solana, right now, Solana is trading about $220 something. So that's a little over a 2x of $500. And to me, that also seems pretty reasonable. The BTC, Ethereum, and Solana targets that they said for 2025, I think it's all reasonable. BTC hitting 180, that's basically just a 3x from its last all-time high of about 60. So we would say BTC just a 3x from its last all-time high. And then Ethereum, Ethereum's last all-time high was about 4,800 or so. So 4,800 or so to 6,000. That's pretty reasonable as well. And Solana's last all-time high was about 250, so that's about a 2x. So I would say these are pretty conservative numbers. Definitely possible for the future for sure, I would say. Next up, we also have debt smoking BTC. So the Federal Reserve debt is over 36, I can't even read this number. Is it trillion dollars, more than 18 times greater than the Bitcoin market cap. So wow. So we see that the debt is over 18 times the market cap of Bitcoin. So this is just a chart showing the federal debt versus Bitcoin. And we can see that in the past since 2012 or so, right? And then we saw in 2013, we see that point of where federal debt and Bitcoin sort of just hit the same level, but yeah, this is just a chart. I don't really know what to make of it. What do you think of it? What do you guys think of it? CEO Binance CZ says nations will print to build a BTC reserve. So everybody's gonna, different nations, different countries are gonna be fighting to do a Bitcoin reserve. We saw it this week, right? The company Blockchain Riot bought what, like from their, added $1 billion of BTC to their reserve. So this is just like that's one private company out there adding BTC, and they're saying nations, huge nations are gonna be creating their own Bitcoin reserves, and it's gonna be just a crazy battle. And the price, you can imagine what the price would be when nations start fighting to just collect BTC for their own reserves. Binance deposits insane. So Binance reports $21.6 billion in user deposits, first to exceed 100 trillion in trading volume. Nano Lab increases holdings to 360 BT. So we just see a lot of different companies increasing their holdings, their own little BTC reserves. Instead of holding fiat USD, they'll hold BTC. And in 2024, Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, reported a remarkable $21.6 billion in user funds deposits. Wow, that's a lot of funds. And those funds are going to BTC as well, right? Let me skip these ads. And we also see a decline in Coinbase trading volume. Since March, the 70K level of Coinbase has seen a decline in the 30-day moving average, 30-day DMA. BTC trading volume dropping from 25 to about 9.7K. Essentially, since March, Coinbase users have been limiting sell-side liquidity on the public market, which in turn has fueled up the upward price. So it's saying that pretty much since March, people have been selling less, and this pretty much increases the price, right? Because people are just selling less. And we see also a lot of DeFi usage as well. And we also see that Vancouver approved their own BTC motion. The Aussies are in. So Australian retirement fund AMP invests 27 million into Bitcoin. They 57 billion AUM are the first domino to fall into 4 trillion. Blackrock recommends also we saw BlackRock recommend a 1 to 2% BTC allocation, and pretty much a 1.2 to 2%. They're pretty much recommending that right now. And they hold trillions and trillions of dollars in their funds. So 1 to 2% is also a lot of capital, right? BlackRock BTC bag recommendations, and here's what their recommendations are. And we can see the allocations are about 2%. Some people are saying 4%. This is just like an estimate, but yeah, 2% I think is cool. It's not enough to move, but if it pumps drastically, it is enough to move your portfolio a little bit. We also see BTC risk index track Wall Street, and this BTC volatility chart is pretty much base risk, right? And we can see that the risk for BTC has dropped drastically, or we see, and while we see the price of Bitcoin increase, we also see the risk that they say for this, that the volatility also decreases. So yeah, it makes sense. More capital in it, it's less volatile for sure. Insane December 9 days, right? And this is pretty much the 9 days of BTC in November. And these are pretty much just like the different funds, that different stocks, exchanges, and funds that they are in, right? These are different companies. And anyways, this is a chart that you guys can see that they've accumulated. So we see on average it's like over 800K per week so all of these like financial institutions are accumulating BTC for their own reserve, and we see that about every single week on average it's about 815 or so K, and that's a lot of capital. You do the math, 815, 100,000 times one Bitcoin is 100,000. Insane numbers. BlackRock Monster Bytes. We see spot ETF money inflows $1 million per day. It's a lot of up and down, but this is just a chart of the last table we saw. Lopsided smile, lots of dollars flowing in, a lot of dollars. Let's see. And we see this. Microstrategy is gobbling up BTC for their own personal reserve like crazy. We saw just in December alone, they've added huge amounts of BTC starting from December 2nd all the way to December 11, and they're still adding on. You know, there was much more before this as well, but they've just in the past 2 weeks or so, they've added thousands upon thousands of BTC to their reserve. And people are saying that the MicroStrategy, they're starting to copy their kind of game, right? So we see MicroStrategy hold $6.2 billion of BTC, and we see Mara Holdings, which is a Bitcoin mining company, and we see a bunch of different, we see Riot as well. We see a bunch of these different companies add BTC to their own reserve. So so people are noticing what MicroStrategy is doing, and they're copying MicroStrategy, which I think is pretty smart, because think about this on a global level. Once nations start to do this, right? Maybe we see one big nation first start to accumulate BTC for their reserve, like MicroStrategy. Then we see other huge nations start to do the same thing. What do you think the price of Bitcoin could reach then? Unimaginable number. Although the estimate was 180 for this bull, if that happens, maybe I don't know if it will happen in this bull run. If it happens within the next anytime between 5, 10 or so years, the price will just go crazy. Maybe it's this bull run, maybe it's the next bull run. It's just Nanolabs. Anyways, Nanolabs moves to Bitcoin Treasury. We see that as well. So Nasdaq listed Chinese company Nanolabs increased its holding from to 360 BTC, worth about 36 million. That's pretty good. We see more companies adding in. MicroStrategy maybe coming to the Nasdaq QQQ. So QQQ is pretty much a pretty big ETF. And it's likely to be added on December 23rd with announcements. Moderna, and we see like Moderna, the pharmaceutical, is likely to get the boot from that list, which is pretty cool. We see MicroStrategy growing pretty drastically during this time, and we see other companies, I guess, start to lose their momentum a little bit, and different companies leave the Nasdaq, the top index funds, and new companies come in like MicroStrategy, which I think is a cool thing. SOLstrategy is coming to Nasdaq. SOLstrategy plans Nasdaq listing after $2,336 stock surge since July on Canadian exchange. So cool. We see more companies coming to Nasdaq. Zeus makes BTC history on Sol. So this coming from a Twitter post from DGen News. So they announced that it has validated the first Bitcoin transaction on Solana using its infrastructure. So it's history, right? So we're seeing BTC and Sol worlds kind of collide, and it's making history. And this is kind of on a technical level, on the kind of first side that's been going on, and what's been happening. Anyways, they're making history. So Zeus with the market cap of Stacks. So Zeus with the market cap of Stacks is $31.81, which is going to be a 60 potential X from here. Zeus is 0.02% under Stacks. Pretty cool. And here are the crypto costs per daily transactions. We see this. It's a pretty cool chart. We see ADA. This is like a daily transaction. We see ADA do a lot, and then we see Stacks do a lot. We see Atom. We see just a bunch of different cryptos on here, and it doesn't list all of them, but it lists a lot of them. I'm surprised to see ADA do that much. So, and here's a good thing that we could do. We follow the devs, the innovation. So developers drive the blockchain technology advancement, enhancing capability and security, the ecosystem growth, investment. So developer activity indicates potential for higher returns, signaling project credibility. So if we see that there's sort of innovation going on a certain blockchain, we can sort of see investment returns, hopefully in the short to long term. And we also see ecosystem growth because the developers add more to the ecosystem and as grow. And developers also, these are pretty much the reasons why you should follow the devs, because security as well and community support. So all of these things are kind of the backwards research that you can kind of do into when you're sort of looking for a new project and you want to potentially invest or just do it or just be part of it. So number one. So Solana became the number one ecosystem for new developers in July of 2024. So we saw earlier in 2024 that with a huge surge of this, like, I guess, meme coins, a lot of people, and it's fast, a lot of people are just sort of jumping ship from maybe other layer ones, but that's what I'm assuming. And we see a bunch of new developers join Solana. Tesla crazy deep OMM call options. I'm not too into Tesla as much, but yeah. So, but anyways, Gary's still trying on lawfare with Musk. Anyway, so I guess Gary Gensler and the SEC are still going at it. You know, Gary Gensler has pretty much is gonna leave within the inauguration. So pretty much when Trump steps up, Gary Gensler is gonna step down, and Trump's new people are gonna step up as well. Anyway, but Gary Gensler was pretty much very anti-crypto throughout his entire term and his stance. You know, many different things going on. So I think it's good for crypto that he's gonna leave. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and turn post notifications on. And I'll see you guys again in the next video. Peace out.